Now, let's deal with some of the myths. One myth is that without charitable deductions, charity would go to hell in a handbasket in America. Not true. The United States has been and will remain the most charitable nation ever invented. Now, one of the reason it is because we're the most commercial nation ever invented. To succeed in commerce, you have to meet the needs and wants of other people. Even if you lust for money, as they always seem to think in the White House and Hollywood, you don't get it unless you provide something that somebody else wants. So in the marketplace, meeting the needs and wants of other people, you have to satisfy somebody that you're offering them something they want. So without even realizing it, we have a system where you're very attentive to what other people might want, even if they don't know, even if they're not sure they want it. As Steve Jobs famously said, when asked if he did marketing surveys, he said no, because people don't know what they want until we show them. So whether it's putting a new product out there or a better existing one, you have to satisfy people or you don't succeed in a true free marketplace. Well, you think of philanthropy, charitable giving. That's meeting the needs and wants of other people. So it's long embedded in the American culture. Whether it's in commerce or philanthropy, success means meeting the needs and wants of other people effectively. So over time, the American people, not only do they give hundreds of millions of hours a year in voluntary time, but also roughly give in terms of cash about 2% of GDP a year. In good times, it might go up to 2.2, bad times down to 1.8, but it's around 2% a year. And in the 1980s, under Ronald Reagan, when the top tax rate was cut from 70% down to 28%, a lot of eleemosynary institutions, eleemosynary, Bill Buckley pulled that word out of obscurity, means charity, but many philanthropic institutions said this would be a disaster for giving, because after all, instead of having the Uncle Sam effectively pay 70 cents of your charitable dollar of giving, he's only going to pay 28 cents. What happened was, thanks to the boom of the 1980s resulting from Reagan's tax reforms and other reforms, charitable giving not only went up, but the growth and the rate of giving went up. In short, when people have more, they give more. What we have today is almost a corruption of philanthropy when we go and say the only way you can do it is you've got to go through this convoluted shoals of the tax code, make it straightforward, and the American people will be glad to do it. It's embedded in our culture. Another myth, so remember the statistics of the 1980s. It showed, even though rates came down, charitable giving went up. Another thing they say is that mortgages, without the mortgage deduction, home ownership would go down the tubes. No one would build houses anymore. Well, we've discovered in recent years the federal government can do that without any changes in the tax code by debasing the dollar and doing crazy things with Fannie and Freddie and other things. But several things to keep in mind on the mortgage. One is only about 1/3 to 40% of the people take the deduction in the first place. It's not as widespread as we think it is. But more important, if people keep more of what they earn, in a vibrant economy, if they're earning more, doesn't that mean they're going to be able to buy more house if they wish to do so? And most countries don't have the kind of incentives, so-called, for home ownership we have in this country, yet over a dozen have higher or equivalent rates of home ownership. If you have a vibrant economy, people are earning more, they will buy a house. In fact, with a stable economy, with a stable dollar and a good tax code, you'll get more long-term housing instead of the violent swings that we have today. Another thing they say, by having a low rate, by everyone having the same rate, you're going to hurt poor people. Just the opposite. When you have a vibrant economy, people have the opportunity to move up the ladder. As that Steve Moore interview in the Journal yesterday pointed out, in Domino's, hundreds of people who start out minimum wage end up owning franchises over time. You start a low entry-level job, you learn skills, and you're able to rise up, or as Lincoln put it, improve your lot in life. So we haven't had as much mobility in recent years because we've had a stagnant economy. Get a vibrant economy, and the American dream is realized again. As long as you have a desire to get ahead, you'll have plenty of opportunity to do so. Another thing they say is it'll help the rich. It'll help everybody. You all know the numbers. When Ronald Reagan took office, the top 1% of income earners paid 18% of federal tax revenues. By the end of the decade, it was over 30% and resides in the 30% range today. So if you want to get more for the rich, have a more vibrant economy, you will get more. Another one is that we must have progressive rates. If you earn more, you should pay a higher percentage to the government. Well, think of that. All that means is it guarantees, this is why the Leviathan loves a progressive income tax, is that federal revenues always grow faster than your income. So if your income goes up 10%, your tax bill will go up 15% because you go into a higher tax bracket. So the system is rigged. The better you do, even better, at least on paper the government does. So others say, well, if you have a single rate, it makes it easy for Congress to raise the flat tax. So maybe they start at 17 or 15, but then they'll soon raise it to 40 or 50. No, the real way to raise taxes is to have a complex tax code. Because we've all seen, time and time again, you can make a change in the tax code, either an interpretation or something coming out of Congress, or a decree from the White House, and it'll be months before people discover what's in the thing. When you have millions of words, it's very easy to disguise these things, and people don't know what in the world is going on. The greatest defense of a flat tax is its simplicity. If you want to change it, everybody sees it. There's no way you can hide it or slip it in. So simplicity is a defense. Another one, of course, is a supermajority. If you want to change the thing upward, you have to have a supermajority. So if it only can go up, if there's a consensus in the country, you have a national emergency, we must do it. Otherwise, it can't happen.